Welcome everyone, welcome to Caves of Hope TV. Thank you again for visiting our channel. Today is a special day. I've got a special visitor. Pastor Pretty is with me here, who happened to be my lovely wife. We've been together in ministry for the past 15 years, and people have been sending us questions about burnout, and she's here to ask those questions. Welcome, Pastor Pretty.
Thank you, Pastor Siabwe, for having me tonight. I've got a few questions that people have been asking on burnout. And our first question is, what advice would you give to the pastors out there?
Everyone is susceptible. Everyone is in the danger of burnout. In spite of how strong you think you are, excuse me, how anointed you think you are, burnout can hit anyone. 1 Corinthians 10, verse number 12 says, "Wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed, lest he fall." We'll see as we discuss that there are great people that have gone through burnout. There are great men of God today that have been leading great ministries that have taken their own lives due to burnout, left ministries due to burnout. So burnout can happen to anyone.
Thank you. Our second question is, how would you encourage pastors out there who are burnout?
You're not alone. Reach out if you feel you're burnout. Reach out. As a matter of fact, Caves of Hope is all about servants of God that are burnout. We are here to help. We are here to give all the support you need. So there is a lot of help out there. And also, I want you to know that you're not the first one, and you're not the last one. Great servants of God have burned out. Elijah burned out after executing one of great miracles in humanity's history, when he had called the fire from heaven to come down, and burn the offering, the burnt offering, the sacrifice, and killed all the prophets of Baal. But after that, the guy ran for his life from Jezebel, because Jezebel wanted to kill him. So after working so hard and stressful, then fear comes on. All these things, they contribute to burnout. And the guy burned out and asked God to kill him. So if great men like Elijah would burn out, anyone can burn out. So don't feel like you failed. Don't feel like you're not good enough because you're feeling or you've burned out. Anyone can burn out. Jesus burned out in the Garden of Gethsemane. He prayed, and the Bible says he got depressed to a point when he said that, "Father, if it's possible, take this cup away from me." So he was at the point where he was saying, "I can't do this anymore." But because he feared God, he said, "But let only your will be done." So burnout it's inevitable. It's a danger to everybody who works tirelessly in the ministry. We talk about Moses. Moses burned out. Moses burned out to a point where he could not look after his own family. He took his family, to his wife and kids, to his father-in-law. But we see later on, the father-in-law came back and says, "Moses, this will kill you. You're working too hard and you're doing this by yourselves. Distribute the work." So we see now that I'm talking to pastors who are burnout right now. Some of the first steps you need to take is to distribute the work that you do. Give it to other people, train other leaders, and distribute. After Moses did that, he was able to look after his family. He was actually helped to come out of burnout. He was just going to a dead end.
Oh, thank you so much. So they need to also reach out and look for help. But
That's
then
right.
it's wonderful to know that they're not on their own, or they've failed. Our third question is, what advice would you give to the body of Christ about burnout?
Allow your pastor to be himself. Allow him to be himself. Allow your pastor to make mistakes. He's human. Let him make mistakes, forgive him, he's human. Once the man or woman of God knows that he's not judged, he's not stereotyped, he's accepted. Once he feels that acceptance, he performs his duties fully. One thing that can confine a man or woman of God is to walk in that kind of, people they can define your way of life. They can define you what a pastor should live. That will destroy a man of God or woman of God. So really I would say allow him to be himself. If you want to gain everything from him, allow him to be himself. And secondly, support your pastor. Pray for your pastor.
That's right.
When I'm talking about supporting, I don't only mean that you pray for him and support caring speakers in church. Support him financially. It is humane that when you work so hard, you feel the need to be accepted or a reward. It's nature. It's in it. Even God says that. So when you have worked so much, you're expecting a reward. Most of us pastors, we have gone into ministry not for money, but it's nature that when you have worked so hard, you're expecting a reward, whether from the saints or from God himself blessing you somehow. So pastors need to be. So I would say support your pastor, pray for your pastor, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially.
Thank you. The fourth question is, what's the difference between compassion fatigue and burnout?
Compassion fatigue is when you have been giving out all the time, nothing coming in, you're giving out. So I'll give you an example. Pastors, they do the same thing. Carers, carers, they do the same thing. All they do, I've seen people look after their husbands or vice versa. All they do every day, day in, day out, they're giving out. They're giving out from the wheelchair to bath them, feed them, Monday to Monday. You are giving out, no one is looking after you. You have to look after somebody, then you look after yourself. And as a matter of fact, they always put these people first before them. So you're always like, they have to feed first, then I'll do. Mothers, they do it. Mother, they give, husband, kids, then they're always the last. You're giving. In the end, you have that emotional fatigue. But when we talk about burnout is clinically deeper than emotional fatigue. Somebody who has been through emotional fatigue, compassionate fatigue, they can come out of it easily. But burnout, it can take months, if not years, to come out of burnout. Because burnout includes physical exhaustion, emotional exhaustion, and financial exhaustion, cognitive exhaustion. So you feel even your mind is hitting a dead end. The things you used to remember, you can't remember them anymore. You can't. It's like something's not right. You can't think normal anymore. So this is at Caves of Hope, we call it the new Jezebel. The way Jezebel used to kill the men of God is the same way burnout is destroying ministries and women and men of God today. So burnout is deeper than emotional fatigue. You can have burnout with emotional fatigue, with compassionate fatigue, with it.
Okay, that's really deep. Our fifth question is, you always talk about burnout as an onion. Would you please explain?
Just like I explained this previous question, it is indeed an onion, because burnout have got layers on it. Those who have gone through it, you can actually peel and see, oh, this one, oh, this. When people are explaining about depression and stress, somebody have burnout, they can familiarize with that. It hits the chord when somebody talking about the symptoms of depression. Somebody have burnout, that will hit the in there. So it has layers. That's why I tell people people of God, burnout is dangerous. Burnout is deeper than depression. So burnout, there's a layer of physical exhaustion, fatigue. There's a layer of emotional exhaustion, feeling emptiness. There's a layer of spiritual exhaustion. You feel you can't even connect with God. You feel like I've sinned. Why God is not speaking to me anymore? You're so distant to God. And there's a layer of cognitive, like I explained, that even the thinking, you're like hitting a dead end, you're hitting a wall. You just can't do it. You remember those days when we went through burnout ourselves, that you were explaining to me that there are times when you were singing in praise and worship after being an MC, you felt so tired that you wanted to throw the mic down. You go there and feed babies, you come back and continue, singing and leading prayers. It's just too much for one person. So when that happens for a long time, it creates layers of problems after another problem, another problem. We're not talking about how it affects marriages and stuff and kids. Those are other layers. So there are so many layers of burnout that, people must not take it lightly. Men of God, they must seek help. Even those who are not feeling it now, they must avoid burning out.
So it's, I would say in smaller ministries, really, it's more, they are more likely as well to be affected with burnout because the pastor, his wife, his children, and perhaps the few members that are there, they are overdoing certain roles that can make them really burn out because they are not...
You're right. That is exactly why, in the case of Hope, we don't only look after pastors. Workers in the churches, we're going to be going out helping them. Pastors' wives, they're affected. Children, pastors' children, they're affected. So we're going to be talking about all these things and all these people. These are people that we work with, really, because small ministries, especially pastors in the diaspora, they carry a lot.
That's true.
So I'll really kind of like differentiate a local pastor experience of burnout or challenges compared to somebody who's in the diaspora. Most pastors who are in the diaspora, they face so much challenges that for me, one way or another, if they don't get enough help, they will burn out. You are in another country, you have to work hard for your family, the ministry is small, can't pay you, you have to pay your bills, you have to look after your kids, you have to take them to school, you can't miss service. If you miss service, or if pastor's not coming, so it's so much pressure in that small ministry and you have to carry it by yourself. Sometimes you have to pay the rent. You remember, for years we paid the rent for the ministry, and we still had our mortgage to pay. So the pressure that is on a pastor in the diaspora, when compared to a pastor who lives here and they have their family, they can go to grandparents and get help. It's so much. There's a red flag on most of the pastors that really from the diaspora.
Yeah, and I think with Africa as well, you find that there are so many genuine churches or genuine pastors, although they are local in their countries, but because of the economic background now that is, they're really affected economically, and other churches on the next door to them, they're probably booming, and so pastors are working as well twice as hard or being affected compared to other churches who have maybe financial assistance from other bigger ministries perhaps, and so people are running away from their churches, and then it makes the pastors feel as if they're not good enough, and yet that's not the case.
You're right, Pastor Pretty. You're right. I'm going to be a bit controversial here, but I know it's true. There's a lot of, especially when you focus on Africa, we're going to Africa soon. When we focus on African pastors need help. Otherwise, they will also go astray. We see a lot of false prophets rising up in Africa, and the generation we are in, they love miracles, and most people, they'll leave your church and they'll go to this prophet who is bringing breakthrough, who is doing this miracle money, and true and faithful servants of God, they are left with no members in the church. Most people going to there, and it's affecting, it's causing so much pain and burnout to the true servants of God. That is why we need to help them. That is why most of young pastors now, they are following wrong things, and most of them calling themselves prophets, apostles, and stuff like that. They're trying to pull the crowd. And if we don't help the true servants of God, then our church won't have healthy churches out there. And the most main aim for Caves of Hope is to build a healthy church of Christ.
That's quite interesting. Yeah. Perhaps this will be a topic of another day, because I've seen men of God today, they are a bishop, tomorrow they've changed, they're an apostle, tomorrow they've changed, they're a prophet, tomorrow they've changed, they're an apostle. So it's like going perhaps with the times, unless if that's what God has called them to do, but it's sort of, there's a trend there. But anyway, because of time, our last question is, could you please talk about signs and warnings of burnout?
Signs and warnings, right. When you begin to lose joy from the things you used to have joy in doing, that's a big sign that you're burnout. Okay. When you lose joy in prayer, or you just the thoughts of going to church tomorrow, and you feel something running down your spine, know that you are burnout. You used to feel excited. Tomorrow's service, or what song, what am I wearing, you're excited about the word, the revelation God gave you. But this time you're thinking, oh, again, tomorrow's service. And you go back to your old messages. You can't even bother to read the Bible to get a new message. You're burnout. So these are signs of burnout. There's a lot that I can give. Because of our time, really. Talk about exhaustion. When you're feeling, all the time you're exhausted. Just waking up in the morning, you feel like you don't want to wake up. It's a sign that you're burnout. You wake up, or you struggle to wake up, and you wake up and you can't even, you don't want to bath. These are little signs of burnout. So once you realize the lack of passion and joy, please seek help. We are here to help. Cares of Hope. God has called us to reach out to men and women of God who want to come to church. We want to teach them how the church should look after their pastors. We want to train your leaders how they should really support. Like I gave an example of Moses, and how they supported Moses, and it changed the whole vision of Moses, and it helped him from burnout, and he managed to be a father. So once you see any sign of burnout, just seek help. One thing that I will not leave, this people say, oh, just stress. No, it's just stress. It starts like that. When you feel your neck is stiff and you're having aches in your body and headaches, those are signs of burnout. You need to seek help.
Thank you. I'm not sure if like your contacts or are there on the website, so that people can reach out to you for more help.
Yeah, we have got our number down here right now, and our website where you can contact us. So feel free to contact us. Next few videos we'll be talking about how we're gonna be helping these pastors, and what God has given us this vision. We're gonna explain it to you, and the result we're gonna build for these men and women of God. We're gonna be talking about that. So please continue checking on this website, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we're gonna be updating you on a weekly basis. Thank you so much, Pastor Pretty, for coming and giving us your time and experience. We didn't actually talk about your experience. At some point we will, because we're going to talk about pastor's wife, and for you it will be interesting because you're a pastor's wife and you're also a pastor. That's even double the pain. So watch out on our videos. There's a lot we're going to be talking about. I hope I've managed to answer your questions today. Please send more questions that we're going to be able to talk to you next week. But we are going to be having weekly shows here. So subscribe. God bless you. See you soon.